Organizational Behavior, Human Behavior at Work, Chapter 2. LOs, the elements of organizational behavior system, the role of management's philosophy and paradigms, alternative models of organizational behavior and their effects, trends in the use of these models. Organizational behavior system, purposely created and used by organizations to achieve goals, regularly examined and updated. Outcome criteria, performance, employee evaluation, personal growth and development. So when we look at these behavior systems, these things were put in place as a means of trying to determine and measure what was going on with people, units and groups, to achieve goals. When you saw people that were functioning and groups were doing well, they were achieving goals. This system, people organizational behavior looks at that to see what type of system they use. This system is something that's regularly examined and updated. You have to. Here's why. Sometimes you have to do this because you have changing people, changing technology, changing inputs. So this has to be regularly examined and updated. Something you were doing 5 years ago, you might not be doing 5 years from now or today because of these changes when you have to tweak stuff. Outcome criteria. They're looking at what type of performance are we getting from people? Are people satisfied? Performance, bottom line is results. Are you achieving goals and results? Are you performing at a high level? Are you performing well? Employee satisfaction. This is really important in today's society because more so now than ever, people don't stay places where they're not satisfied. If they're not being satisfied, they will leave. And a lot of times when you hear people leave and stuff, a lot of times it's due to leadership. There's a saying that people don't quit jobs, they quit managers. Personal growth and development. What type of personal growth and development do you have for your people? Are you developing them? Are you investing in them? Are you allowing them to grow and be better? When we look at the organizational behavior system, we have the manager's philosophy, values, vision, mission, and goals. So we're going to see how this system, how things are connected and the flow in which they're connected at. So if you look to the right, organization, formal organization, then you have, that is the company. Organizational culture, what type of culture do you have in there? Is it a positive culture? Is it a negative culture? Is it a toxic culture? Social environment, which comes into play too, when you have people working for you. And sometimes people will dismiss this element right here, but it's very important. And so then you have your informal organization, things that are transpiring in there, like groups and cliques and things along those lines. Leadership, communication, and group dynamics. So you see when that organization culture leads to that. Now we're looking at quality of work life. If you have people who are making great money and they're working 18 hours a day to make it, I can show you something that's going to happen eventually. It's going to be called burnout. People will start, it ain't the fact that they don't like the money. It's the fact that they're just getting burned out. Even if somebody actually even enjoys the job, they're getting burned out. You have to have work-life balance for long-term success. Now, you can do this for a short period of time, but you can't do it all. Quality of life does mean something. And if you have an organization or managers or leaders who don't understand or believe in that, then I can show you places where you will have some issues and you will not have harmony in the workplace because of it. Motivation. How do you get people motivated? What does it take to motivate people? How do they get, you have to find the ways to motivate people. And whatever means that may be. And when I say motivate, that's always something positive. What does it work? Is it financial? Is it attaboys, acknowledgement? Is it continuing education? Is it paying for tuition assistance? Whatever, things to motivate folks. And then you get to your outcomes. Here's your employees' performance, satisfaction, personal growth, and development. Those things up above that are what actually goes down, points to help you get these types of outcomes. Elements of organizational behavior system. Philosophy. So it consists of an integrated set of assumptions and beliefs about the way things are, the purpose of the activities, and the way they should be. So it's like you have an organizational philosophy, you can have a group unit philosophy, and you can have individual philosophy. But this is how people perceive things and what they believe. And a lot of times what somebody's belief is, and many times it's their reality. Fact premises. Our descriptive view of how the world behaves. acquired through direct and indirect lifelong learning. So this is where, from cradle to grave, this is all the stuff that you acquire around it, and how it affects you when it comes to fact premises. How you view things. What's your fact? And one of the things I can tell you that distorts that nowadays is a lot of people get their facts through social media, where somebody's giving opinions about stuff, not necessarily facts. So that could actually have you have a skewed view of how you view things. Value premises. Our view of the desirability of certain goals and activities. What do people value? What do they value? And when you understand what they value, then that's what you try to give them. For instance, do people value working in teams, working together in teams? Or do people value, what do they value? Is it upward mobility? Whatever it is they value, you have to lean into that. And it's not necessarily, it may not be what you value as a leader, but it's what they value. And as a leader, it's not about what you want, it's what they want when it comes to trying to motivate them and look at value and what's desirable to them. Elements of the organizational system. We got vision, challenging portrait of what the organization and its members can be. Okay, I always tell people, vision is where we want to go. Vision is where you want to go. Strategy is how you get there. Mission helps an organization identify the business it is in, the market niches it tries to serve, types of customers it is likely to have, reasons for its existence. This is your purpose. What is our purpose? Why are we here? What is it we're trying to do? This is your mission. This is how you come up with that mission. And a lot of companies will actually have a mission statement that they try to adhere to, and they try to get everybody to buy into. Goals, concrete formulations of achievements an organization is aiming for within a set periods of time. So goals, what are your goals? A lot of times organizations and people say we have quarterly goals, monthly goals, and things along those lines. And you aim for, this is how they measure their success. Are we meeting these goals? So constitute the belief system that dominates management's thoughts and affects management's actions in each organization. So you have this. And so we go McGregor's theory of human behavior. Theory X, traditional set of assumptions about people. Theory Y implies a more humanistic and supportive approach to people. So we're going to discuss those a little bit more now. So in Theory X, this is a typical person dislikes their work and will avoid it if possible. The typical person lacks responsibility, has little ambition, and seeks security above all. Most people must be coerced, controlled, and threatened with punishment to get them to work. With these assumptions, managerial role is coercive and control employees. This is where you see someone that might be a dictator who doesn't trust people. That's how she leads. She leads like a dictator that doesn't trust people. If I turn my back, y'all will stop working. If I leave early, y'all will leave early. If I ask you to do something, I can't trust you to do it, not unless I can watch you or have somebody watch you. That's what we're talking about that. The theory why. Work is as natural as play or rest. People are not inherently lazy. They have become that way as a result of experience. People will exercise self-direction, self-control, and services objectives to which they are committed. So with these assumptions here, the manager role is to develop the potential employees and help them release their potential towards common objectives. So this right here, if you ask people which system would you prefer to work in, I'm guaranteeing you most people are going to tell you theory why. This is where you actually believe in people. You believe that they are good, they can do good, and you trust and you value them and you want to invest in them. Contributions of McGregor. So it aided managers in thinking consciously about their belief systems and management models. Advocated the practical value of reading and using research findings to better understand human behavior. Introduced and popularized the hierarchy of needs model by Maslow, and encouraged the balance of human values with other values at work. So when we had this come about, McGregor, it changed things for the good. It got managers to start thinking about, what type of manager am I? Am I a manager? Am I a tyrant? Or am I, brutal, or am I effective? And understanding something too, when you are effective, it doesn't mean that you are soft or weak on things. And then you come like to my Maslow's hierarchy needs. We'll talk about that too. But it encourages the balance of human values and other values at work. So between the human values and the values at work, you bring them together. Remember, people aren't robots, they're people. Paradigms. Frameworks of possible explanations about how things work. And we say paradigm, and this is looking at behavior of how things actually work, to look at, say, why is it 15 years ago things were this way, today they're this way. Usually when you see something like that and you're talking about periods of time, you're talking about paradigms. And they do have impact on a serious impact on how we do things and how we look at things and what outcomes we get. They influence managerial perceptions of the world around them, because it's like a school of thought. For instance, we go back to McGregor's theory X and Y. That's an example. Define one's boundaries and provides prescriptions for how to behave. This is how people are going to behave and stuff. In the industrial age, during that time, people, management leaders behave different than you do in the technology age. Encourage resistance to change. Encourage resistance to change. So one of the things you find is people get into a paradigm and they get comfortable operating it because they've been in it for 10 years. They don't want to go to something else, because here's what we do know about paradigms: they don't last. They come and they go. Now, but it's over usually a matter of years when it happens. Consciously or unconsciously, it affects one's behavior. And you see, and that's kind of like your conditioning. You've been conditioned to think a certain way, so therefore sometimes you will, well, why did you do that? I don't know, I just did it because I've been doing this for years, so I just know to do it. That's unconsciously. So consciously you may say, well, I'm going to do this, and because I think this is the way it should be done. So a paradigm can affect both of those. So 5 models of organizational behavior. So when we look at these models, you have these different styles. You have the autocratic, custodial, supportive, collegial, and system. So when you look at this, you see right here, I won't read through all this, you can read through it at your leisure. You can see kind of in each one of these categories, when you go down, what they kind of represent in each one of those systems. So we're going to talk about the autocratic first. The autocratic system. So when we look at the autocratic system, manager orientation is formal official authority. Delegate by right of command over the people to whom it applies. Assumes that employees have to be directed, persuaded, and pushed into performance. Employee orientation is obedience to and dependence on one's boss. Employees perform minimum required work and get paid minimum wages. So this is where you have an autocratic. This is kind of like you have in some countries, they have autocratic leaders. So it's not a democracy. You don't vote on things. You're not asked a lot of stuff. You're told what to do. And a lot of times in this situation, you may hear an autocratic leader say, I'm not paying you to think, I'm paying you to work. And these are usually low wage paying jobs as well. But everything centered comes through the boss. People really don't have any input about what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, whatever else. Everything runs through the boss. And we've heard of this before. It's called micromanagement, and that's where it comes from. Autocratic leadership style. Immersion of a manager into controlling the details of everything. So, no well-known alternatives are available. Organizations under crisis. When you have somebody operating this way, or your organization's philosophy is this way, I can show you somebody that's probably not going to, I'm not going to say they won't be successful, but they can't sustain it. Custodial style. So designed to develop employee satisfaction and security. Success depends on economic resources. So managerial orientation is toward money to pay wages and benefits. Security needs is a motivating force. Organization must have wealth to provide pension and other benefits. So in this right here, it's like we make the employees happy by paying them. And we get to pay wages and or giving them benefits, great benefits. That's kind of that's our philosophy. And this is what we believe. If we do these things, we can get the certain type of stuff from you, the right type of behavior. Drawbacks, it leads to employee dependence on the organization. So employees depend on the organization to provide everything for them. And that's not a good thing. Employees become preoccupied with economic rewards and benefits. So they only think about perks. What can you give me? What can you give me? What can you give me? And it leads to passive cooperation. Most employees do not work to their full capability. They will do enough to get by. So there are your drawbacks when it comes to that. Supportive model originated from the principle of supported relationship by Renesas Likert. So this depends on leadership. Management orientation is to support the employee's job performance. Psychological result of employees is participation in task involvement. Employees are more motivated than earlier models, and their drive for work is enhanced. So this is where management is supportive of the employees. So the ones supportive model, is geared towards supporting the ones who are doing well, who are high performing, and it has a drive that I appreciate. So theory versus practice. It works well with both employees and managers. Again, the theory is difficult to put into practice. Effective in affluent nations. So you may see things like this is more prevalent in places like the United States or in the Western Europe countries versus you will find it maybe in the Middle East or in parts of Africa and parts of Asia or in places like old Soviet Union, those places. This would not work there, but it works better here. So it can be. But I will say this, of all my years of working and stuff, I don't think I've ever heard of this actually being something that was utilized solely. Maybe in some capacity, but not solely. Collegial model, extension of the supportive model. Team concept, most useful with unscripted work, intellectual environment, and considerable job freedom. Depends on partnership between management and employees, leads to moderate enthusiasm. So when you look at this model, this is where you may find people who may be, folks who might be working in groups where they're like, they're trying to develop, like engineers who are trying to develop a new product or something along those lines. And where they are actually given the autonomy to go out there and figure out something new or how to make something better. And they have the freedom to do that. They don't need to run to the manager to ask permission to think about something, to do something, or try something. That's what they're being paid to do, is to find and figure out. Management with these management a lot of times views these people as partners. They kind of, when they go, let's say the manager goes to these engineers, he doesn't go to them and tell them, okay, this is what I need you to do today. He may go to them and ask them, okay, what do you guys need from me today? So it leads to moderate enthusiasm. System model. Okay, result of a strong search for higher meaning at work. Positive organizational behavior focuses on identifying, developing, managing psychological strengths within employees. Social intelligence, strategic social awareness for managers, dimensions, empathy, presence, situational radar, clarity, authenticity. So this is kind of what we see a lot today when I think of people, when people don't describe this system or tell me, well, it's the system, this system model I'm working in, but when they describe it, a lot of times this is what I hear. This is where you're working with people and you're trying to work with the whole person. You understand that, they're people, so you have empathy, you have a presence, be there when they need you. Situational radar is very high, meaning, let's say that I've got a team of 7 people and 7 of them are extremely experienced and 3 are new hires. I know from situational leadership, that my radar being up there, that the 7 people were experienced. I just go to them and ask them, hey, what y'all guys need? Let me know, I'll get to here. The 3 people who are new, I may go to them and tell them, okay, here's the things I want y'all to work on today. I'm managing different because the situation is different with them until they learn how to do the job. System. So management's role is facilitating employee accomplishments, helping them be successful. I facilitate me. I'm going to find ways to help them to be successful. What is it I do? I need to give you an example. I may have one lady who's working for me and she lacks confidence. Well, my job is to facilitate and provide her, boost her confidence to help her do her job. I may have someone else who's really good at doing individual tasks but not multiple tasks. My job is to make sure that they get one task at a time so they can knock them out and stay and function at their best. Psychological ownership, feeling of possessiveness, responsibility, identity, and sense of belongingness. So this is where you get people who come in and they can feel they can gain an identity, they can feel they're part of something and belong to something, and take some ownership of it. Stimulates passion and commitment to goals. And this is how you get these people to understand that it's not you and me, it's we. It's a team. And get them passionate about what they do. Work not only as an individual, but then as a group. So when we look at the facilitator roles for the managers in the system model, so we see support employee commitment to short and long-term goals, coach individuals and groups in appropriate skills and behaviors, model and foster self-esteem, show genuine concern and empathy for people, offer timely and acceptable feedback, influence people to learn continuously, share their learning with others, help individuals identify and confront issues in ethical ways, stimulate insights through interviews, questions, and concern, suggestions, encourage people to feel comfortable with change and uncertainty, build cohesive, productive work teams. All these things right here, when I just read out to you, if you ask somebody, if you had a leader who operated like this, every last one of them would tell you, that's the person, I want to work for her. I want to work for him. Because this is where you're actually trying to build up your people, support them, lead them, and guide them. And here's something else too, get out of the way when you need to, when they know what they're doing. Let them do it. You trust them. So that's why that's important. So conclusion about the models. Involving usage depends on changing employee needs, and no model is effective in all situations. Remember I said managers and leaders have to be flexible. They have to know situational leadership. This situation dictates that I lead a certain way. Primary challenges, identify a model currently being used, assess its current effectiveness. Okay, primary challenges, are you using the right model for the situation and for your people? And you got to determine its effectiveness. Relation to human needs. Models are closely related to human needs. Each model built upon the accomplishments of the other. So as you see these different models, a lot of them are based on each other, the various aspects of it. And this is that continuing research that I referred to earlier, how they build upon it in research, researchers, and how it's put out into corporate America and how people abide by it and use it. Increasing use of some models. Trend towards newer models will continue as they address employees' needs for esteem, autonomy, and self-actualization. Contingent use. One model may be used most. Appropriate uses will remain for other models, and more advanced models will have growing use. So they evolve. They evolved. When you see these models, you look at them, you look at the system model and think back to the autocrat model. The difference is how evolution has happened in the theories and the models during time and how different they are. And how, if you think about that, if you went out there today and actually operated only as the autocratic leader, how you would probably fail miserably and quickly, versus using the systems model and where you would probably set yourself up for the most likelihood for success for you, yourself, your team, and your organization. That concludes this chapter.